I give high props to Brian Norman Jr. because they interviewed Brian Norman Jr. right after the fight, and he made no excuses. He just said Devin Haney was a better man that night, and he said Devin Haney will see him again. I think this fight will make Brian Norman Jr. a better fighter, and that's how a true champion takes a loss. Brian Norman Jr. is taking his loss better than his fanboys and Devin Haney haters are, right? They're making all kinds of excuses now. You know, the snack, holding, and Devin Haney's a boring fighter, which he is. He's not my favorite fighter to watch, but he won that fight. You gotta give him credit for that. And why are you gonna bring up Snack after the fact that he beat Brian Norman Jr.? What I remember about the predictions were that Brian Norman Jr. is gonna knock out Devin Haney, regardless if he's on Snack or not. And he was pillow-fisted. And Brian Norman Jr. found out Devin Haney is not as pillow-fisted as he thought he was. Now let's start with excuses and give Devin Haney props regardless if you like him or not. You made the wrong prediction. Brian Norman is not as good as we thought he was. But you know, the bright side about that is he's 24 years old and there's room for improvement. But right now, he's not an elite fighter. He had everybody fooled that he was an elite fighter at the age of 24. That doesn't mean 4 years from now he won't be an elite fighter. It just means he's not that now. Now let's get to David Benavidez with an impressive stoppage of Anthony Yarde in 7 rounds. Now I picked David Benavidez to win this fight. I picked him to wear Yarde down and stop him in the later rounds. But David Benavidez stopped him sooner than I thought he would, and it was an impressive victory for him. The most impressive victory he had at 175. So I said, now let's see, bring on Benavidez and Bivol. But David Benavidez had a bit of surprise for us. I mean, shout out to Ring IQ. He called it a long time ago that David Benavidez will move to cruiserweight. But here's David Benavidez. I don't own the rights to this content. It's for educational purposes only. Let's listen to what David Benavidez has to say.
Ramirez would be a possibility in 226. Which one would you prefer to look at? So
I wanted to fight Bivol for this fight. I was the #1 contender to fight for the WBC title. That's why I have the WBC title, because he relinquished it and he wasn't ready to fight. But that's the fight that I've been wanting to get. You know, I want to make my dreams come true of becoming a unified world champion. And I don't know what's going on over there. You know, I don't know. He said that he wanted to take the fight with Benavidez again, and then they said that he had surgery. So I mean, I really don't know what's going on over there, and I don't want to wait for nobody anymore. You know, I mean, I waited for Canelo. That fight never happened. You know, now I'm waiting for Bivol. That fight's not happening. So I want to achieve greatness, and I have an opportunity to go up to fight for 2 titles at cruiserweight, and I said, let's get it. You know, so we're gonna go up there. We're gonna fight Zurdo Ramirez May 2nd.
There's a possibility of win there. Fought the Australian Joel Pataya?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to prove myself. Everybody always says that I can't do this, I can't do that. I'm ducking this person, I'm ducking that person. But when I go in there and get the victory, it's always the same thing.
Shootout, let's go for it then. And you see what I did. We stepped into Monstro's world and he got KO'd. I graded B+. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I think I could have did a little bit stuff better, but there's always room for improvement. But people wanted to see the knockout. They said I couldn't stop this guy. I had no power 175, and you know what I mean? I made it look easier than I would say Kovalev and Benavidez. I mean, it feels like I'm really happy with this, and I just want to keep training hard. But I got some news for you guys. May 2nd, me versus Zurdo Ramirez. I'm going up to cruiserweight to challenge for his title. So.
Heard it from the horse's mouth. Now I wonder, is David Benavidez's contract with the PBC is up and he's gonna sign with Golden Boy? Because that's the only way I see this fight is gonna happen, unless Oscar De La Hoya is telling the truth that him and PBC are willing to work together to make fights. Now, David Benavidez is making a move to take over Cinco de Mayo, and it seems like Mexican Independence Day, the ones that was previously owned by Canelo Alvarez, right? It seems like David Benavidez is trying to make his bid to take over those Mexican holidays. And after Canelo's loss to Crawford, it seemed like David Benavidez's popularity towards Canelo fans is picking up. The previous fans that did not like David Benavidez, that trashed him, are now cheering him on. So maybe it's possible for him to take over the Mexican Independence Day and the Cinco de Mayo. Who knows? But another thing I got out of this is it seemed like he's saying that Bivol and Benavidez are ducking him. And he's the one who said they should have a trilogy in the beginning. Now he's saying they're ducking him. He's not going around. They should move up to fight Zurdo and Opetaia. Now, he'll fight Zurdo, but I don't believe the Opetaia part. I can remember David Benavidez endorsing the trilogy. He says, let them get their trilogy out the way, then I will fight the winner. But once the trilogy was in place, him and Bivol were ready to fight for the trilogy, David Benavidez activated his Mando clause. And that's how Bivol vacated that title and David became WBC light heavyweight champ. He's trying to pretend that he waited around for him, but I remember what everybody said. David Benavidez also said in an interview, I didn't get the whole thing, but he said also, if one of those guys become available, he will move back down to 175 and fight them. Who believes that? No one believes David Benavidez is coming back down once he moves up to cruiserweight. What this tells me is David Benavidez never had a plan to become undisputed at 175. It was just a pit stop before he moves up to 200 pounds to fight Zurdo. Now, I can't take that victory from Anthony Yarde away from him because he did. That was impressive to me. I like what he did against Anthony Yarde. But still, I'm very disappointed that David Benavidez is moving up to 200 pounds instead of unifying at 175. But anyway, leave your thoughts and comments below. What do you think? Should David Benavidez move up to cruiserweight and fight Zurdo, or would you like him to stay to 175 and become the king at 175 pounds and prove he's a Mexican monster? BZ, I'm gone.